You're watching Nuggets post-game live, 124-116, brought to you by your Front Range Toyota stores. I want to start with this. If I had told you back in December or January, little used Jalen Pickett, who barely played, and often when he did play, you're like, oh boy. And here he is tonight in one of the most critical games of the season, knocking down critical shots. 5 threes in this game?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, you know, look, I think his journey from last year to this, I'm going to go all the way back to last year's rookie year, to this one. It is night and day. There's no doubt about that. I think he's one of the 3 best stories on this team, bar none. And what he has done to continue to improve himself, and with that, you could see the confidence in his 3-point shooting, which has just been remarkable here of late. But I think for me, the biggest difference between Jalen Pickett last year to this is just how he operates a basketball team, in particular in the pick and roll, his reads coming off the screen or turning down the screen, understanding what he is seeing, and then diagnosing that and making the right play. He is doing that far more than he did, and of course he would. This is a game that you need repetition. Playing point guard is kind of like playing quarterback. Not as difficult, but you have to see it all first before you can thrive at it, and we're getting to a point where he has put in the work and he is thriving.
And Chris, he's not turning the ball over. The Nuggets as a team only had 7 turnovers tonight.
Yeah.
They've done that 3 times this year, and they're 3-0 in those games. There's your recipe.
Yep.
All right, time to see what's at stake, presented by STK. We'll get you updated a little later because I think the Clippers game is still in action, but here is the latest. It just ended, I'm told. It just ended. If that's the case, this 3-way tie exists no longer, then Denver would be ahead of the Clippers because Denver has the better conference record. So Denver would move into 4th place if it's just those 2 at 48 and 32. We're showing you this because take a look at what Golden State did. They lost at home to San Antonio at the buzzer. Huge loss for the Golden State Warriors. That eliminates that 3-14 tie. Here's how it went down. All tied up. Harrison Barnes, the former Warrior, take that! How you like me now?
Yeah, that's wild. Guess what? San Antonio did that to Denver last year about this time of year when the Nuggets needed to win a game, and all you had to do was beat the Spurs, right, to do it, and the Spurs beat them. So the Spurs making a habit of doing this to teams with things to play for late in the season. But when you look at those stats, you see the standings, I should say, you see how this is going to go. That one day you're in this place and you win or you lose, and there are drastic changes happening in the standings. And it just means that as we go into these next 2 games for the Nuggets, a lot can still happen. The Memphis Grizzlies will play tomorrow, and then the second of a back-to-back will be against Denver in Denver on Friday. They have a lot to say about this as well. So it's an exciting time of year, Vic, and the Harrison Barnes showing you why.
Just to be more detailed about this, so the Clippers end up winning just moments ago. So the Clippers and the Nuggets now have the same record. If it's just 2 teams with the same record, you go to head-to-head. They're 2-2, and then you go to conference record, and the Nuggets have the better conference record, 30-20 compared to the Clippers, 26-23, which means the Nuggets are now in 4th place. All right, let's take a look at who's all in, presented by Ball Corporation. All in for the Nuggets, aluminum all in. All 5 starters were in the zone tonight. Only Jalen Pickett did not hit the 20-point mark. How about the start by Christian Braun? He had 12 of his 25 in the first quarter.
Yeah, and then for him, that would be, 55 points in his last 2 games? Christian Braun has been a revelation, but Nikola Jokić, what a game from him. And here's what I liked about his game tonight. The Sacramento Kings made it pretty obvious right off the top that they were going to play him physically. They were going to front him when he caught the ball anywhere near the lane. They were going to surround him with as many bodies as they possibly could. And so what he did early on was really kind of alleviate some of that with passes, a couple of them to Aaron Gordon for dunks, just trying to make the Kings pay for that type of defense. And then what happened over the course of the game is some of that stuff loosened up a little bit, and now he's able to operate. Now he's finding a little bit more space to be able to knock in the shots that really decide games, and then he was able to do that here today.
You know my favorite aspect of Nikola Jokic's game tonight? He channeled his inner Bill Russell. Did you see how active he was in the team huddles? Give me that grease board. Here's what we're going to do defensively. He not only did it on the sidelines, he did it during the game where he assembled the guys and said, let's do this.
Yeah, so this was like a perfect blend of X's and O's and just imploring his teammates to do what happened. And look, we saw a couple of times, there was one point at the game, late in the game, where he was hitting them with this after he watched Sacramento call the next play, and that's just a stack action in the NBA. And so when people say, this is not just Nikola Jokić, a very talented basketball player, but a cerebral player, maybe arguably the most cerebral player in the NBA. He put that on full display here tonight. And for a coach in an interim like David Adelman, for this to be your first game out, for the stakes to be this high, to have that extra help has been amazing.
Yeah, David Adelman served as the interim head coach. I think Nikola Jokić was his chief assistant tonight.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it.
When we come back on Nuggets Postgame Live, we will hear so self-deprecating and honest and measured and detailed. If you missed pregame, he gave his flowers to Coach Malone for bringing him here and giving him the opportunity.
Which is also a reason why you don't celebrate, right?
Exactly.
Because a good friend of yours, a mentor of yours is gone, which is the reason why you have the opportunity, so you don't celebrate that.
At the same time, he didn't get overly emotional about it.
Yeah,
right?
correct.
There's still some season left. You win the game, and you need to win a game. Now you got to win the next one because they're all important. I just love DA, man. Adelman's approach to this, I think, is exactly what they needed right now.
Well, it's really good that everybody is getting to see, quite frankly, Vic, what me and you have seen for already 3 years, right? And, you know, it was very apparent to us early on as we watched him. We knew this guy was going to be a head coach, and we think he's going to be a really good one. And I think you saw some of the traits of that tonight. Now, look, this is one game. And as he explained to all of us just a few minutes ago, there are 2 more to go for the Nuggets to lock in where they want to lock in and then get themselves actually ready for the playoffs. And I think it's very, I think it's important to think of this game today like this. This is a set of stairs, and they took the first step, which is to kind of calm the waters, to start to remedy some of their shortcomings. And I think they did that in this game. And so now what we're going to look for Friday against Memphis is to take the next step on that ladder and to calm more waters and to shore up more stuff so that when they hit the end of the regular season, they can practice knowing that they're in a much better space and then hit the ground running when the playoffs start.
All right, let's take another look at the conference standings. Again, games just ended. Craziness ensued. Golden State loses at home to the Spurs, dropping all the way to 7th. The Clippers won tonight. The Clippers still sit behind the Denver Nuggets in the standings. Conference record is a tiebreaker. Memphis, by the way, they got a back-to-back coming up. They play Minnesota tomorrow night before they visit Denver on Friday night.
So I think for Minnesota, that will be an elimination game for any designs on being in the top 6. You lose to the Memphis Grizzlies tomorrow, and you fall 2 games behind the Grizzlies, it is over. They will be in the play-in. And so it's, quite honestly, I would love to see it, to be honest with you. But we'll see. I mean, look, as Vic has just shown us, crazy things happen here late in the season, and the NBA wants it this way. These teams are very comparable teams. They put them in a schedule against each other, trying to predict which of these teams might be in the running for things. They got that exactly right this year because these games are all meaningful.
Listen, nothing's official. Nothing is conclusive here. But I think if the Nuggets win one more game, one of the last 2, I think they avoid the play-in. That's an assurance.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Just take care of that right now. That started
and make it the Memphis game.
Yes.
Yeah.
Started with a big win tonight on the road in Sacramento. When we come back, we'll go inside that Nuggets locker room, not only to get their